Hi, I would like to show and explain a game I've made in Unity for a course assignment. The game consists of a player, a zombie, and a lane where the player can run from side to side. There are also some different objects which the player will have a reaction to when they collide. Here you can see all the different objects there are in the scene. The zombie, which is controlled by the player, the plane, that is the floor and walls, the main camera that follows the player, and some directional light that light up the scene. Next is the kill box, which is the cubes. They are destroyed and remove a life from the player if they collide. And here is the goal, which stops the game if the player touches it. And right now it is just placed here, so I don't have to play the whole game to show you what it does in practice. The game consists of 3 scripts. The game controller, which is very short, and it just attaches the main camera to the player, so it follows the player when he moves up the lane. And first let's go into the game master script, which is attached to the game master. First, it imports Unity engine, which is a collection of all the classes related to Unity. Then we import system.collection that let us use other important classes. And here we create the class, game master script, and write mono behavior that sets the class to base class. I won't go into details about this because it has something to do with oriented programming and polymorphism. The first thing in a class is a field with some different variables. Public texture 2D text is set in the inspector to contain the player's life in the upper left corner of the game. Public font new font is also set in the inspector to contain a font that is used in some GUI text. Public int life is set to 5, but it can also be changed in the inspector because it is a public variable. Private int level is later used in GUI to display what level you are in. Public float player score is the point you obtain every frame. And here is the built-in function start that runs once the first time the code is being run. And in it runs the don't destroy unload function on the game master object, so the object is not destroyed after the game is started. Fixed update is the infinite loop, and it will have the same time between calls. First, the player score is added by 1. Then there is a if statement that checks if life is less than 1, and if this is the case, then life is set to 5, and the application will load the level 0 again and restart the map. Unfortunately, there's a bug right now, and it messes up this restart method because it creates another level but doesn't close the other one properly. Down here is the GUI function. The GUI style overrides the default style and allows for coloring and other font types. I then set the new font as the font, then I change the color of the font. Here I create the text field displaying the level and the player score. Last I use a for loop to display how many lives the player has left. And now I will explain the script that is attached to the player. In the field, I initialize animation anim that lets me assign an animation for the player. And this time it is not being attached in the inspector, but in the start function. First we get our reference to this object by writing admin equals getComponentAnimation. We then use wrap mode to tell what we should do after the animation is done playing, and we tell it to loop the run animation. In fixed update we declare 2 variables. The current X position and the distance between X wanted position and the current X position. We then move the player using add force. Rigid body objects will be pulled downward by gravity and can react to collision with incoming objects. And here's the if statement. It lets us move the player from one lane to another. Down here is the onCollision enter function, and it is called every time a rigid body is being touched by another rigid body. If the tag of the object being touched by our zombie is enemy death cube, then it will destroy the cube and remove a life from the player. If the game object tag is goal instead, then the game will break and the player has won the game. Thank you for listening.